Alright guys, so we are in the throes of final assembly on this 300i. It's a Chrysler Windsor that we cut down from a 4-door into a 2-door, for those who are just tuning in or haven't seen the previous episodes. Right now what I'm going to be working on is taking this dash pad and shrinking it down a little bit. Chrysler, in all their infinite wisdom back in the day, made this panel removable by taking out that windshield. There's no other way to get it out. You can't bend it. There's too much structure. It's a steel panel covered in whatever. And to get it out, you have to take that windshield out. And there's no way I'm taking that windshield out to put this pad back in. That was fun to get that one in. It's original glass. However, the seal, we had to replace it because if you look back, way back in the previous episodes, in the beginning episodes, it was shot. So we just cut the windshield out and saved the glass, didn't break it, chucked the rubber, got a new one. So anyway, on to this. I discovered by digging through all the bits and pieces that we found in the car that this is not the original pad out of the car. So we're going to change it to match the interior. On top here we have this dirty gray, and I thought it was just dirt on top of the turquoise. Not the case. Whoever was restoring the car spray painted the top of this pad with paint. So, and I think it's a house paint because it doesn't behave too well with thinner. So we're going to do our best to clean it up and re-dye it properly. Hopefully we can salvage it with black, because most interior is going black with an accent of red. Like, I was really in love with this turquoise. When I pulled it out, I was like, wow, you know. But after looking at it a bit closer, it's been painted, unfortunately. So this is the piece that gave it away. It's an old headlight ring that came with the parts. And down in here you can see the turquoise. So the gentleman who had this car, or was restoring this car, had one that was a turquoise one with pretty much it provided all the parts for this one as he was restoring it. Marble mouth there. So there's a little more of that turquoise with the red oxide primer. This is a spare headlight ring for this car. This is something we don't throw out. It's still in pretty good shape. A couple of little dings there. We can work those out later if we need to, but I just wanted to show you that the car that this pad came from was a turquoise car, which was not this car. So I don't feel too bad in changing the color. The ends though, we have to cut that, because subsequent Chryslers, they thought, probably not a great idea to pull your windshield out every time you take the pad out, or have to fix your pad or whatever. So we're going to roll this upside down. This is a plywood top table. There's no burrs or anything on it. I'm going to very carefully unwrap. We've got little hooks here. I'm going to bring you guys in so you can see the witness where the trim was and where they spray painted it, maybe taped the trim off, who knows, but you can see the overspray under there. There's beautiful turquoise color inside here where they couldn't spray it. They've got these little hooks, I started opening up this side here, that the upholstery kind of caught onto. So we're going to pull that back, and because this is aged, we're going to warm it up a little bit. Pull it back to give me access, and there's a line I drew there. We're going to cut this off right about there somewhere. We're going to lose those hooks, but I have got some pretty darn good adhesive that will hold this in place. And then when it's flipped upside down, there's some moldings that sit on top. You can see the holes there, and that'll help hold the upholstery in place. That clips into the front, and then like I said, there's trim across here. I do want to keep this pad as intact as possible. I'm not going to rewrap it. trying to keep some of the originality of the car, some of the spirit. When you get into this car, it's like a time capsule for the most part. Yeah, the center consoles, they're custom, but if you look at a later model Chrysler, say the early 60s, you can see that they had a similar type of setup, and that's what we're trying to emulate. We're not recreating a 60s car. I want to upgrade a little bit to make it more convenient or more comfortable to be driving in. All right, let's move this out of the way. And we just need to do this little area here. I don't need to go too far. Once we do our cuts, and I have to be extremely careful when I'm cutting this. I don't want to go through the other side. I guess Chrysler thought there was no real point in removing the dash pad because everything is accessible from other areas. However, if you ever have to recover it or repair it, it makes it difficult. And like I said, we're not pulling that windshield out. Okay, so let's pull this back. It's not bad, it's not bad, not bad. Okay. Perhaps if I pull it back far enough, see, I don't want to disturb it any more than I have to. I can hear the glue coming off. Yeah, it's the foam that is having a difficult time coming apart. And I don't think we'll ever get it off, even with a heat gun. And this is pretty pliable, yeah, I'm surprised. Let me get a putty knife, push it back. This stuff's almost 70 years old, 68 years old, so we gotta be careful. Yeah, this is torn a little bit there. That's pretty brittle. But as long as we can come back to this line here, just ahead of it, we'll be fine. We'll be okay. Let me get a putty knife and carefully pull that back. Fly head. Just warming up the metal. Hopefully it'll release the adhesive, because otherwise we're going to be tearing the foam. It'll just separate. Nice smells coming off. Too bad you guys don't have smell-o-vision. Adhesive's a bit sticky. All right, let's try that. Not too bad, most of it. There's a step there, interesting. Oh, that step is the hook. All right, that's as far as I'm gonna go. I've just gone, see, it's crumbling actually. So, okay. Now, if I bend it back on itself and fold it over, it could crack. So, we're just gonna do that. I'll have to support it. All right. If I use tin snips, I was going to use zip blade, but just looking at it now, if I use tin snips and sneak in on this, we might be able to cut this off without heating up the metal too much. It's really easy to make a mistake. In the sense that you can mess it up and then it's real pain to go back to correct your mistake. It'll take longer to correct your mistake than making the mistake. So let's see what we can do. Now this is not bending the right way. We have a lip here and that's preventing it from rolling up. But I don't want to roll down because then it's going to mess us up there. That's 16 gauge. Or 17 gauge. It's pretty heavy. They don't puncture through there. Good. Clip that off there. See? Initially, when I was planning to do this, I thought zip blade, should cut it off. But I think this is better. Now, if I can remove that foam, wow, it's rotten. Like I said, I want to preserve some of what came with this car. Some of you might think I'm crazy. And it's crumbling. That's okay. It doesn't smell like mice. Sometimes you have foam and it just permeated with mouse smell. Okay. I might take some sandpaper, some 40 grit, and just knock off that adhesive a little bit. Just rough it up, freshen the material up. Then we'll take it and roll this all inside. I might need to make a cut there, we'll see. And we'll re-adhere all this. It's this final stuff that takes the time. You can race through it and, you know, but once we glue this down, we'll see how much we can wipe off, clean up the top. We can't sand it, but just wash it and maybe take some reducer. Varsol, I don't want to use Varsol. We'll try the reducer, see what happens. I hope this works. Kind of like going to the dentist. Okay. Pull that back like that. Okay. Let's wash that and glue it. We can still use these hooks over here. After I put some adhesive there, I'll just hook it again. Here, we just got to pull it back. And then, like I said, the cover, the molding will hold everything in place once the dash pad is in. Okay, that's it. Now, it's low, it's a 3M 90 strength, high strength adhesive. Gonna make sure I don't get in my face. We're gonna apply it to both sides. So we'll let that tack up until we can touch it without it coming off on our fingers, and we can then stick it down. Just get those tails there. Looks like there's some fastener holes here. See that? So it looks like somebody buckled it. There's a couple of wrinkles there, so maybe they just stuck it in place and screwed it down. I don't know. Can't tell what they did, but not ready yet. So once I get this done, jump onto the other side, get that one done. Let me get a rag and try a little bit of reducer on the bottom side here. That's a lot of reducer. Wow, okay. It's coming off quite nicely. You can see the gray paint. It's pretty shiny right now because it's wet, so it looks quite stunning, that color. Get your rag nice and wet, because otherwise it starts getting sticky. All right, get the one. Just about there. We're going to play the waiting game. Just about there. You want to get your contact cement or your adhesive to the point where you can touch it, doesn't come off on your fingers, and then stick it down. Pull that in and leave that corner for now. I hope that this is the right width. I think it is. You know what? We'll just leave that. It's cushioning, so you don't get any vibrations. Okay. There's a little tail there. Wait a little bit longer. Get that tucked in. I've got some stuff on top of the dash right now, a light bulb I had to change, and just little reminders and things. We'll clear that off and slide this in once I get the other side done. Take a look at it. Hopefully we get in there without any trouble. It could be a bit snug. I may have to heat this up, pull it back, and do it one more time. Okay. Oh, come on, stick. Once this stuff sticks, without a little bit of heat, it ain't coming apart. I need to retain that inner screw. As long as we have that, we can line up the moldings where they need to be. Let's heat this up, pull this back. Ooh, wow, that really softened up nice. See, a little bit of heat. I've pulled up underlay on rugs, not on cars, but houses, and it turns into complete powder at times. Just knocking off any loose adhesive. It's going to cause problems later. I think once we test fit this, we're going to get onto that radio and see what we can do about getting that to work. When it was in the car, lights came on, but nothing happened. So we'll do some tests on that and see what we get. So for everyone who's been following along with this project, what do you think? We started last year, a lot of late nights, evenings, weekends. Here we are about a year later, and we're ready to, very close to firing it up again. It ran before, but I mean, not after it was modified. So put it down in the comments. Let us know what you think. I want to have a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, we can restore a Chrysler, and it's just another 56 Chrysler if we bring it back to what it was. But I could have bought a set of doors, put them on, you know, that kind of thing. But I think everybody's done these things. There's a shop in the States that did a 300. Chrysler 300. Now that's one that you wouldn't want to modify to this degree, but this was a Windsor, Newport, and well, Like I said, we had some fun with it. Oh, it's getting there. A little bit sticky there yet too. It kind of held me in place. I don't want to lose any fingers. The stitching isn't letting go yet either. It's still holding. Get them onto those hooks. Good. Pull this in nice and tight. Tuck these little guys into there. And that's it. Normally I like to let this sit overnight to stick, but I'd like to get this dash pad in and see what it looks like. If we had covered this whole pad, then it'd be different. I'd have to I'd let it sit. Wow, that's pretty thick on there, but it's coming off. There we go. See that? Must have used a whole spray bomb. We are going to test fit this before re-dyeing it. That is a pretty color. I don't know, I'm having second thoughts now. Just doesn't jive with the rest of the interior anymore. Key is to get this nice and soft, and then they'll start coming off. Not the pad, the paint. There it goes. And you wouldn't want to do this with any kind of leather product. I think this is a vinyl. The leather, well, you'd probably kill it. We could leave this dash pad this color. Let's see how it turns out. Check that out. When it's wet, it just pops. Seriously, how much paint did he use? Still coming out. Definitely not a dye. I'm really impressed as to how well this pad held up all these years. Decisions. We're going to put it in, we're going to test fit it. And we're going to think about it for a couple minutes. See if we can rationalize leaving it as it is. Even the threads have cleaned up. Hey, I appreciate you guys watching us bring this car back from what we started with. It's one thing I do like is saving them, be it for somebody else or for ourselves. I think that's it. Ooh, a little bit of darkness there. And let this dry up, evaporate. See, it's getting better. It's actually popping more. Still looks kind of gray in there. Yeah, let's get a fresh one. I think my gloves are just on the way out. Okay, we gotta stop. Now we're getting green. What I'm gonna do is wet this. Just go over it, blend it, everything in. Right off the end. I've been working this side more than the other side. We're done. That's it. The underside here. It's not bad. All right. Well, it doesn't look too bad. Looks very 50s. They had some pretty wild colors back then. All right. I'm gonna go clean the dash off, and then, what the heck is that? Oh, that was the adhesive from when I was doing the upholstery stuff earlier. I've experienced light color dashes in cars, and personally I prefer something dark on top because they tend to reflect a lot of light if they're, say, lighter than this. This one here is borderline. Okay. Jump in here. The stuff that we have to get to yet. Ooh, we've got, that's a screw. Look at that. That's for that. It's the molding for the top of the roof. Put this outside. Okay. I've got a screw there and a screw there. These zip ties shouldn't get in our way. Let's drop that screw and see if we can get that dash to fit in. I really got my fingers crossed. Please fit. Ooh. It's a bit gray there, a little broken there. Gotta go on the other side and fish it in. To be honest, it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look that bad at all. And it fits. We'll have to glue that. It snaps in, but I don't want to snap it in just yet. That's going to go up. Guys. Earlier I had painted these moldings. This goes on the passenger side. You know what? Holy smokes. See, with all the work that we did, tipping this windshield, this frame back, all these moldings still work. Where are you? I think it goes there. Yeah. Something we gotta adjust there, but anyway, that's for later. Right now, the decision is to dye or not to dye this pad. So I had painted these moldings black, anticipating to be painting that black, but you know what? I think that's gonna look killer. Just that accent piece. We'll have a piece of chrome under here, piece of trim, all the way around the top. I need to stand back and take a look at this because I like it. I like it a lot, surprisingly. And the condition, that speaks volumes. I have decided that we're going to leave it, that turquoise color, because I just, you know, I was tossing it back and forth. You heard me trying to convince myself to dye it or not dye it or whatever. It looks really sharp in there. It's one piece that's original, and it really adds to that time capsule feel. And the stickiness that was on there, it's gone away. So, yeah, let's move on to the part that's going to sit in there. And the part I'm talking about is the radio. It's a Mopar model 844, vintage 56 stereo I wish, AM band radio. Everything seems to work on it in terms of touch and feel, but I'm not sure what the radio itself is doing. I've kind of cleaned up the knobs with some steel wool. Let's see what it says when you put some power to it. I stripped off a lead there. I've got the original aerial. I might have to go outside with this, don't know yet. Plug it into the back. Slot right there, or plug right there. And I've got the speaker that came out of it. Now I didn't hear anything when I turned the radio on in the car. The lights came on, but there was nobody home. So let's do a test on the speaker and see what it tells us. First thing, try to eliminate any variables. That might affect us from getting this to go on. Okay, so basically what I've done is I set up my ohm meter to read about 8 ohms. This is a 10 ohm speaker. So we're going to see if we get 10 ohms across the coil. And as you can see, I've got nothing. Zilch. Nothing happening. So let's test it. There we go. Okay, tester's good. Speaker, nothing. Now it could be these leads are not connected correctly. I've found all kinds of stuff in this thing. So let's eliminate that and go a little bit closer to the coil. There's 2 wires that go in from the inside of the jack. We'll test them there. It's bypassing the wires. And again, we have nothing. If you don't have an ohm meter, there's another way you can test it, and that's by using a 12-volt battery or a drill battery or something around the lines of 12 volts, 14 volts. Just touch to the battery. You can use a 9-volt battery, you know. And if you hear a bit of a crackle, you got something. Here we have nothing. So it confirms what our ohm meter was telling us, that the coil inside here is open. You can probably cut it open at this point. See what's inside. No, oh. Nope, can't really tell from in there either. Something's opened up inside, not sure why, so this one is junk. If it crackles, they're good. We've got another little speaker here, not sure what it came out of, and we can test that as well, see what happens. I don't know if you guys can see that gauge, but we have 7.7 ohms, close enough to 8, so that means this is good so far. Let's see if we can put some power to it. I'll show you what I mean about the crackling. Doesn't matter. Take 2 jumper leads. There is a polarity at the speakers, but we're just doing a quick test here. Hear that? That little pop? Speaker's good. So knowing the speaker's good, let's take it to the next step. Apply some power to the radio. Go there, antenna's hooked up. We don't need the tester anymore. Let's use a red one. Although I don't know what the polarity is coming out of here. Do not, come back here, you do not want to touch or have these wires touch. You will short out the radio circuit inside. And since I don't know the polarity, we're just going to attach them here. It's not going to affect us too much. It's an AM radio and it's not too complicated at the moment, so we're going to keep it simple. Now these, I'm guessing, I'm not sure, I'm not sure what they are. Could be indicator lights, or it could be the ground for the radio. So what we'll do is we'll hook up the red, positive, and the radio is off right now. We're just going to touch the chassis. Let's see what that tells us. Let's see if she... interesting. We have sound and we have light. I think we have light. Yes, we do. Up under here we have light, and that humming noise, hear that? That's a vibrator. Yeah, this is what makes a tube type radio work in a car. This bumps up your voltage from DC 12 volts to about 240 volts AC using this transformer. And if it's humming like that, that means that... Let me turn this off while I talk. I don't want to damage anything if something else is not quite right. I haven't checked the tubes if they're glowing yet. They feel a little bit warm, so it appears that they're working. So this vibrator is basically an electrical mechanical relay, and inside there's a reed that moves back and forth, and it creates a pulse that's sent to this transformer, and this transformer takes that pulse and treats it like alternating current and bumps it up, being a transformer, up to about 240 volts, and allows this radio to do what it needs to do in the car using that 12-volt battery. That's a real simple, I guess, way to describe it. If you want to learn more about it, check it out online. This was developed during World War II. That's what I remember reading about this. So I hear it moving, I hear it humming, but I'm going to give it a bit of a tap, because sometimes the contacts get dirty or oxidized. I didn't want to open it up just yet. I want to see if we have any life. I don't hear any sound coming from the speaker, but it could be because our antenna is inside. Just a light tap. Got to go in the right way. See, the pin comes in as the DC voltage, and the other two comes out as a pulse for the transformer. if I get it right. Okay, there. So let's turn this on again. Okay, there we go. And I want to see if the tubes are glowing. See the little light up in there? So that one's working. This one's kind of dark. Can't tell. And that one has a nice light in it. This one, oh yeah, there we are. That one's got a little light in it as well. So it appears as though all of these tubes are working. That's humming away. Let's see what we have on the dial. Just listening for static, anything. And I got nothing. Ah, we have static. That means this aerial is working. But being that we're in the shop, it doesn't like it too much. Let's try the dial one more time. Ooh, I heard a voice. Okay, we're going to move our operation outside. I hear something, so that's a very good sign. Got things set up here, real basic like. Got our antenna using the crate as a support for the radio, and got the battery hooked up. We connect the negative to the chassis already. Let's see what happens when we turn the power on. It doesn't matter which one we press. That's the volume. Let's crank it up. And we got to give it a few minutes to warm up. That's the beauty of these old tube type radios. I don't hear the vibrator. There it goes. Oh. See the speaker. Right over here. Hear that hum and the static. Start at one end. Heard something. Oh.
This job sucks. Can't do anything.
Check it out.
And we just got fluoride back. Peace.
We got sound.
Drop moment.
Je le renvoie sur le terrain citoyen.
Don't know what's on the AM band anymore.
Somebody.
Oh, check out the volume of that one.
You're on the overpass and the car is down below.
It's coming in pretty strong.
You know what popped into my head just now?
Just move the antenna up a
And
little
it's
bit.
a scene from one of the
And there we
Batman
go.
movies.
We've
Michael
got
Caine
sound.
playing the butler. And he's talking about the Joker. And
Pretty neat.
Bruce Wayne.
We have a working
slash-
radio with 3 stations. Go back
And
up.
I'm not going to go through the long story.
I think the volume's up all the way.
But basically, it was a nonsensical
But you can
crime
hear
taking
the
place. And he says,
tone, more more bass, more treble, and I forget what this one
and
about.
maybe that's
Fine tune? Yeah.
happening here.
Or balance? No, it wouldn't be balanced because we only have one speaker. I'm not sure what that knob does. I forget. So there we go. Hey, Monster Mash. It's playing on the old radio. How appropriate. Okay. I don't want to get nailed, so I'm going to switch the station. And that's it. So, alright guys. We're going to get this radio back in the car. It works. It may need some going over, cleaning. I'll look at it inside. I'll pop these covers off. We'll see if we can find an appropriate speaker. I don't know if that one is sufficient for what we need here. And yeah, that's going to be it. You even get a schematic inside. That's pretty cool. Just looking for anything that's off. Oh wow, there's a bee in there. Let's see if I can get him out. Where'd he go? There he is. See that? That's what the buzzing was about. Not really. That's not good. There's a resistor here. It's pretty dark. Somebody's been in here before. These parts have gotten pretty hot. Yikes. And whatever was done here, this was actually touching. That's normal actually. Yeah, that's fine. It's connected to the same spot. But this area here, it's gotten pretty warm. I'm going to eliminate these two wires. Looks like they were added in after the fact, and for what we need, this radio works without them. That is interesting because that ties into the one speaker wire. And the other speaker wire goes there, there, in there. Strange. Okay. Take that out. We've got new technology going into this car, so eliminate that. Now, these tubes. I have a tube tester, and we're going to have to do some testing to see if we can, to see if one of the tubes may be weak. I moved the aerial around outside and it seemed to improve the reception a bit. So it could be just a case that we're too close to the shop. I'm going to power this back up and see if all these are illuminating. Wouldn't want to get this into the car and then find out that it's not, we could have done something ahead of time. Now this radio still has the cloth wiring, cloth insulation. I'm not about to rewire this thing. The car was enough. It's going to be fused, and if anything does go wrong, it'll blow the fuse. Okay, both indicator lights work. You see in the inside. You guys can see that. So that's good. I don't have the aerial hooked on. I just wanted to see the tubes and see if they're all illuminating. That one is. Hard to tell if that one is. That one is and that one is. It seems we have two tubes that aren't coming on. Now if you don't know what you're doing, don't go sticking your fingers into these old radios. That one feels warm, That one's warm, that one's warm, that one's cold. So is that one. Be helpful if I turn off the lights. Yeah, we have two tubes that are dark. Oh no, we got light. We got light there. Let's wiggle a little bit. One tube's cold. It could be the amplifier circuit. Yeah, we got light at the bottom of this one, and this one is dead. Okay. See, this one's not as, oh, there he comes. So I just went ahead and I wiggled. I could turn that off there. See the tube on my left there? That one, I wiggled it and it came on, and now so did this one. So just oxidation. See how bright these are? These are starting to come back to life. So that could be one of the reasons. You see my battery light is flashing too. That could have been the reason why we weren't getting the volume we needed. So I'm not going to pull them out. We're going to put this car radio back in the car and run with it. Plug the aerial back in. We don't have a speaker. Yeah. Okay. Much better. See that? It's because we're inside. It's much louder now, which is good. All right, enough messing around. I am happy with what we've gotten here. These two, hear that? So that was affecting our volume. That's the amplifier circuit. You got a series of pins. You got a voltage that gets fed to some of these pins to turn it on, and then the other pins do their magic and give you what you need in terms of performance. Hey, made in USA. Oh, you see it's cold now, and you don't get the volume that we had earlier. It's been sitting for a long time. That's all, folks. Now we can assemble this, and like I said earlier, get it in the car. There we go.